For uncensored and exclusive content, please feel free to become a member of this channel or join my Patreon. You will also have access to my book and writing updates and chapters, and I'm reading it as I'm writing it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hello! So, how are all of you? Let's start. I got mentioned in KD Book's video, my issues with the online book community. And it's a fascinating video. I'm going to link to him down below, but I want to discuss what he brought up and my feelings on it. Now, usually I do commentary on the book community on my second channel, links in my link tree, so you can find me there. Now, what I will say is there are some great people in the book community, and I think KD is a prime example of a good person in the book community. Great content, actual discussion, something a little bit deeper than the average middle ground of booktube. And I'm probably going to get in trouble, but you know what? I don't care if people don't like me. I've already been cancelled by the book community multiple times. Who gives a flying hoot? So he pointed out something I absolutely detest, and that is the wrap-up video. And I'm going to hold my hands up and say I am guilty of making wrap-up videos. And they're not very good. I'm looking at them now, and I would try and disguise them with readings and things like this. And I was told, like him, that to get anywhere in the book community, you had to do wrap-up videos. Individual reviews were not welcome because they just don't. Individual reviews don't do well. There is no way around that, unless it's some hyped big YA novel that's absolute garbage, and I'm sick of those books. There is nothing worse than someone holding up a book and saying, well, I loved it, and the cover is cool, okay. And it just gets really old and really repetitive really fast. And it got under my skin, and I'm guilty of doing that. I always try to pack a little more substance into them, but I think I'm guilty of doing that, and I would hide them. So I would do reading, which was a thing. I don't do that anymore. And then I did Friday Read, so it would be a wrap-up on what I was reading and a continuing diary of what I was reading. The cringe is real. The cringe is real, and they weren't very good videos. I hold my hands up. I did them, and I've covered this in on my other channel, is that if I dare went near a book that was remotely viewed as problematic by the wider community, and I say problematic with like giant inverted commas around the word because I detest that word, it's a corporate weasel word, that I would end up getting passive-aggressive subtweets, passive-aggressive emails, passive-aggressive comments from people, and it just got really old. And it got really tiring. And that's a thing that I found frustrating. I found it absolutely frustrating because... And then I would end up doing these wrap-ups, top 5 videos as well. But I think there are a lot of wider issues that this kind of comes in. It's always interesting because it's always another issue I have wholeheartedly is the people that say this is the best book I've ever read, I got it from the publisher, it's amazing, you need to buy it, here are the links. Like a month or two later, they end up unhauling it discreetly, and there was a few booktubers that pointed to the best books they've ever read and said, oh, I didn't read it, wasn't my thing. And I'm thinking, a few months ago you were saying this is the best book you've ever read. Like, that's a thing that I found fascinating to witness. And I found it kind of strange to witness, because it always felt very disingenuous, and there are a lot of disingenuous people that I've had the distinct displeasure of running into in the book community, and a lot of stuff has happened. I also think people talk about consumerism. This is a thing, and something that people don't really understand is a lot of the books that they love and they read, that they're buying these special editions of, will be worthless in 10 years' time. Like, they won't keep their value. There's a handful that will, but most won't. And I found that quite interesting. But also, like, the aesthetic of booktube. Everyone told me I need to have a nice bookshelf. I need to have this. I need to have that. I need to make it look a certain way. I need to do this. There needs to be fairy lights. And you get a lot of voices and a lot of noise. I don't know. It was always, I don't know. I also think some of the bigger issues with the book community are sort of the isolation tactics. There are a lot of people that will blacklist people who read, in their mind, problematic books. And it just gets really tiring and really old. And just, it becomes the same cycle of BS on a loop repeatedly. And that's what frustrates me. You get the new people coming in that do exactly the same videos, the same content, the same loop of things on a repeat, and I get sick of it. I had to kind of back away from the book community for my mental health, because I just got sick of it. And also this thing, a lot of people, and this is another issue, a lot of people see you as a step up. They connect with you, they love bomb you, they send you nice messages, and the second they get more subscribers and people with more clout start following them and interacting, they drop you like a ton of shit. Like, that's a thing that I've picked up on, and I've been on the receiving end of it. It was quite funny. Someone from my early days started getting quite big, and she dropped everyone. She unfollowed everyone that started with her, and she reduced her following count quite massively, even though it was quite funny. She just ignored people. And this is something that keeps happening. And the rinse repeat drama. It's the same drama over and over and over again. Can people find something else new to talk about? A constant circle of drama, a constant circle of the same constant circle of the same stuff on a bloody repeat, and it gets tiring. It gets frustrating, because I want to read a book. I want to enjoy the book, and I came here to talk about books, and I did very little of that. So I will hold. If you go to my second channel, you can watch the booktube videos, uh, where I talk about my experiences more in depth, because that's where they kind of belong. They don't belong here. And I wish, this is something that really bugs me, I wish that book reviews, singular book reviews, did well outside of the same hot YA garbage that gets peddled around the book community all the time. It really frustrates me. It, like, I like to talk about books by people I know, and books that I really love, and books that I hate, but no one really cares about those videos, which I find sad. I find it frustrating, and I find it sad, because, you can't. It's very. I felt very alone in the book community, and that's the best way to describe it. I felt very, very alone and very isolated, and then stuff went down, and it turned me off of reading, and I didn't want to talk in these spaces anymore. And I found myself becoming a very different person, and not the nicest person, very suspicious person. Like, a person would follow me or interact, and I was researching them like the plague, because of the Rachel Marie thing. And like everything that went down tarnished my opinion of the book community. It tarnished a lot of stuff. And I do have a lot of trauma associated with the book community. And that sounds completely stupid and completely bizarre, but I do. It was like leaving an abusive relationship. There is no way around that, and that's how it felt. It was such a bizarre experience overall. But through that, I found people that I like. Katie Books, for example. I should comment more on people's videos, but I don't tend to watch them on my computer. I tend to watch them on my television. Better Than Food is another really good one I love. You know, there's a list of channels I really enjoy that I watch, and they're really good, and they go really in depth. But I find myself, like, the book community online is also extremely cliquey. That's what I found fascinating. Like, the book community online was very cliquey. It was like high school tables. It wasn't really about interacting or getting to know people. It frustrated me. And when all of that happened, everything went down, and I kind of sat here and smiled and like, what the hell? You know. And I should have just carried on. Like, my biggest issue with the book community is my own regret. I should have carried on. I should have made something. I should have just not listened to these people in the background shouting into a void or being passive aggressive with me online. I should have listened to people. And I didn't. That's a thing. I should have, but I didn't. I should have just carried on. I should have done my own thing and went from there. That's a whole discussion. Again, I cover it more on my second channel than this one, because I think it's more of the place of commentary on situations. But the situation I had was, it did make me feel very uncomfortable and very alone and very isolated. And that's the word for it. So I do wonder, like, I could wax lyrical about this for hours, but I think KD hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of the content you see on booktube is very vacuous. It's very generic, it's very the same, it's very safe. Let's do a book haul, let's do a wrap up, let's do a top 5, and I'm so guilty of this, and I have a theory that, as I said in his comments, that a lot of the time people don't really know what to do. There's only so many books you can read. Competitiveness, that's something else that bugs me about the book community. The competitive side of it, the Goodreads goals, all of this stuff. Just read and be happy, you know. Rushing through 30 books in a month is not a good thing. I don't believe that number for the slightest, and I can read about 4 to 5 books a month. And even that's a rush. But I find, as someone who makes content, as someone who was in that book community, I think he hit the nail on the head. And I think a lot of it is people don't really know what to do. You have to make X amount of content. You have to have a regular schedule. You have to do this. You have to do that. And you can definitely tell the content where people are lacking inspiration or just making it to fill a gap, because I'm guilty of that myself back in the day, because I felt I had to. So I wonder, I do wonder, and it leaves me with a lot more questions than most people realise. And I do wonder what the space of booktube is, because you get new people in, and it always ends up being the same book community online. New people come in, and it ends up being the same loop of the same people, of the same drama, of the same aesthetic, of the same books, over and over again. Frustration with that is pretty off the charts, because I don't care about the hot new book that the publisher is telling you is the best thing ever. I want to know about books. I want to know about something a bit deeper than the cover's cool and the book's like a 5 stars on Goodreads, or this writer is this background or this identity, therefore I had to read it. You know, I that doesn't work for me as a reader. It doesn't work for my brain. I want to know about the book. I want to know about the words. I want to know what's written on the page. I don't care about the writer. I don't care about their identity. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. I just want to know what the book is like. And that's what frustrates me with booktube and the book community. There's a lot of talk about books that isn't actually about the book. And there's a whole list of things going on here. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys later.